Welcome to the Current Issues Podcast Weekly Installment. My name is Febby and I'm a senior in high school. You will learn about interesting topics each week, as well as practical advice on how to avoid them. Or should we say, get away with it? Let's get started with your daily dose of current events. So in today's episode, we'll talk about the dangers, risks, and cases of social media abuse and misuse. We're all fans of social media in our own way, right? Networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google, and a slew of other well-known online hubs connect us in a digital society where we may make the most of our social liberties. People can use social media to connect, share life events, photos, and videos. However, excessive sharing or a failure to spot fraudsters result in the compromise of both company and our personal accounts. Did you know that during the discovery process of a social engineering or phishing operation, attackers frequently use social media accounts? Attackers can use social media to mimic trustworthy persons and brands, as well as obtain the information they need to carry out other assaults such as social engineering and phishing. It's a little alarming to think that someone can steal from you through social media, isn't it? Because many social media sites make user posts publicly visible, attackers can harvest data without the user's knowledge. Some attackers will go above and beyond to obtain user data by approaching potential consumers or their friends. The following stage is for the attacker to initiate the attack after gathering all of the necessary data. An attacker can use any strategy, such as social engineering, which involves tricking people into submitting personal information, proving credentials, or wiring money to the attacker. In a more sophisticated approach, the attacker can impersonate a high-ranking executive to persuade the targeted victim to transfer funds to the attacker's account. Site compromise and data theft are another example of a social media threat. With enough information through social media, an attacker may create malware specifically for the company or launch an attack that grants access to the internal network, allowing the attacker to exfiltrate data. Who'd have guessed that there's so many ways to deceive social media users? And it is for this reason that we must be aware of the dangers we are exposing ourselves to when we use social media. The first on the list are scams. Scams can be found in the mail, via email, and more recently, on social media platforms. It doesn't matter if you're on Facebook, Twitter, or any other social media platform, you will ultimately come across a fraudster. It's not always easy to recognize a post that links to a scam article. But since social media platforms have gotten better at deleting this type of spam, such posts are becoming less common. Social network issues is another item on the list. Security on social networking sites is still a work in progress. While this site's security has improved over time, none of them is perfect or locked down to the point where no one can hack them. There is no such thing as a hacker-proof server, just as there is no such thing as a hacker-proof network in any sector. And social media sites are frequently targeted because of the amount of personal information stored in their database. Even if they don't do anything with it, hackers like stealing personal information. Other social media dangers include a lack of social media policy, unskilled workers, and harmful apps. Misuse or overuse of social media is another concern. The purpose of social media is to express one's thoughts and ideas on many topics. Such rights should not be abused or abused excessively. Before posting anything on such social networking sites, it is every individual's duty or responsibility to the society. Have you heard about the events of the year 2012? when modified photographs and videos of earthquake victims began to go popular on social media. One of the first incidents of social media misuse came to the notice of the government. Criminals manipulated the photographs to make it appear that the women were Muslim victims of civil unrest in Assam in Burma. This was done by vested interest in order to incite more riots, and it worked. Another disadvantage of social media is the proliferation of adult or pornographic movies, which are easily accessible to kids, resulting in societal changes. It is tough to draw the line of restriction these days because accessing the internet has become so accessible. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and thank you to those that stayed with me all the way through. I am grateful to each and every one of you, and I hope you take some useful information from this episode and apply it to your social media life in some way.